and welcome to Crafted Narratives, the podcast where every stitch tells the story. I'm Rachel, your host and fellow maker, and I'm so excited to invite you into a world where creativity and personal journeys intertwine. In Crafted Narratives, we explore the art of making, from knitting and crochet to all things fiber arts and beyond. But this podcast is more than just techniques and tools. It's about the story of the maker behind the crafts. In each chapter, we'll sit down with makers and crafters from all different walks of life to uncover the narrative that they've woven into their work. Whether it's the inspiration behind the design, the challenges faced along the way, or the joy found in the creative process, every story is unique and every maker has a story to tell. Crafted Narratives is here to give those stories a voice and to celebrate the diverse, vibrant world of handmade art. Join us as we stitch together the threads of creativity and storytelling, one crafted narrative at a time. And welcome to Chapter 1.
Yay!
Welcome! I have my friend Alaine here with me today. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you're working on?
My name is Alaine. I am Stitchy, Bitchy, Patisserie on Instagram. I am working on the Rocket Tee by Tanis Lavelli.
Exciting.
Very bright pink, my favorite color.
I love that pink. It is so bright. And you might recognize Alaine and this project if you've watched our Flock vlog recently, because we did go to Flock together, so I filmed a vlog, and that's what you were working on. I really wish I would have been working on my project from Flock too, because I haven't finished that yet.
Sad. More to come.
Yeah. I am working on the Bibliophile, and now I cannot remember the name of the maker. I can't believe I didn't write it down. Is it Brittany? No.
Alicia?
Maybe? Oh shoot.
Alicia.
It will definitely be in the description and show notes of this video, because I will put the link to the project page, and yeah, I did not add that to my notes, unfortunately.
We're learning.
Yeah, this is so exciting. This is a big day. This is the first chapter, and thank you so much for being the first one to test this out with me. All right, so let's get started. Tell us, what are your crafty hobbies?
Right now I'm really into knitting, as you can see, but I started mostly in crochet. That was my first yarn love. I still do that, but I did that for 4 or 5 years before starting knitting, and then I just got into sewing like this year. So that's been really fun. I'm making my first quilts.
So exciting.
So exciting.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I do a little bit of cricketing here and there. Kind of hate it, kind of love it, but you know.
Yeah, that's kind of what sewing feels like to me.
Yeah.
Like, I love the idea of sewing. I don't love all the cutting, and I don't love the ironing, but the finished project is so cool, and it really is faster than knitting. Like, you can have a finished outfit in a weekend,
Totally.
and that will never happen with knitting.
A blanket in a day.
Yeah.
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 But
super cool.
sewing takes up a lot of space.
It does.
So it takes up a lot of mental space also to, like, my house has to be somewhat clean, and I can't lay fabric on the floor because of all the dog hair in my house.
You have to vacuum first.
Yeah.
Same here. When you have dogs and carpet.
Right.
Yeah. And then getting the ironing board out and all the pieces. It is a lot. Yeah. Knitting is like definitely nice for just a quick, easy, portable project.
Yeah, definitely.
So how did you get started? How did you get into crocheting?
I got into crocheting. I graduated college in 2018. I was in nursing school, and I was super burnt out.
That's fair.
It was my first year of nursing. I didn't really have any friends nearby. I was working 3 days a week, long hours, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do to fill my time.
Yeah.
My husband and I are browsing Barnes and Noble just one day on like a date night or whatever, and I saw a crochet book, an amigurumi book.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I want to do that. So I bought some yarn, trash yarn. Yeah, and I picked it up and never really looked back. Yeah.
That's so funny because, I shared my story in, like, the introduction of this podcast episode, and I talked about the same thing, like, the yarn that I used, and that's all I had access to, and I was, like, trying to make bikini tops with, like, Red Heart Super Saver acrylic yarn, or the, like, really thick, heavy cotton, just nothing that was
true rookie mistakes.
What you should be using. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome, though. That just goes to show that, like, it just takes those few little supplies to get started, and it opened up so many other doors.
Yeah, I think I spent $20 the first Michael's trip. I spent lots more money since then. But, yeah, all it took was $20, and, yeah, I was sold.
Do you remember your first finished object?
Yes. I followed a tutorial by Jada and Stitches on YouTube. Love her, she's the best. And it was an amigurumi donut.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, I still have it somewhere. I put it on a string and have it in my Christmas decorations.
Aww, I love
that. But it's not good work, but it's good to see every year.
Yeah. Like you have that as like a milestone, a reminder
for
of
sure
how far you've come.
I hate amigurumi now though. Yeah, it's my least favorite part of crocheting.
Yeah.
But it's the most giftable.
It is. It really is. And they're so cute. They're so cute. I've made so many. I made little gifts for my nieces and nephews and for myself, and I talked about that, like the I spent years crocheting, just making hats, and then like amigurumi really got me really into crochet and like feeling excited about it and realizing, oh boy, that's fun. Realizing all the fun things you can make, and I love that you learned from a YouTube tutorial too.
That was pretty much all I used the first 6 months of my crocheting journey is YouTube tutorials.
Yeah, because there's a lot out there that have like every step-by-step instructions.
Yeah, the first like huge blanket that I made, it's probably 90 inches by 90 inches, and I did the majority of it with YouTube tutorials.
So tell us how your crafting journey has evolved since then. Like since you first got into crocheting and making amigurumi, now you're knitting. How did that happen? How did it all transition?
Yeah, so I started getting into knitting because I don't like crocheted clothes. I tried to make a crochet sweater after a year or two of getting into crochet.
Yeah.
And like granny square stuff, very trendy right now.
Very.
But at the time I wasn't doing that. I was trying to make actual wearable sweaters and tank tops and stuff, and that was not it. So yeah, I started knitting out of a like need to fill in my crafty endeavors.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of how I got into knitting.
My process was kind of the same too.
Yeah?
Because, I was crocheting socks and they were just not comfortable.
Not
and but there's tons of great crochet like garment patterns out there. But I get what you mean. Like the flexibility of the knit, like it's just soft and drapey and just oftentimes looks like if you're trying to create a handmade wardrobe, I tend to gravitate towards the knit look because it does look like something that you can get in the store.
Right.
But as I say that, it's like that's not necessarily what matters.
Yeah.
But I get what you mean, and especially like even a few years ago, for me at least, like I don't know, were you on Instagram at the time and like in the crafting community?
Really, no.
Yeah, because if you're not, I feel like it's so much harder to know like what's out there as far as patterns and designers, and getting involved in Instagram is like really opens up your eyes to all the different options out there.
Yeah, and like when I wasn't on crochet Instagram, all I could find was on Pinterest and on Ravelry, and like Ravelry is not as robust for crochet. Ravelry is definitely geared towards more knitting. So I felt like I didn't have a ton of resources to find really cute
Yeah.
crochet garments. And I have some crochet garments that I love.
Yeah.
Even now that I still wear, but yeah, it just wasn't scratching the itch, I think.
So do you primarily knit now, or how often do you crochet still?
Yeah,
You
so
like to do crochet blankets, right?
I love crochet blankets. I just love blankets in general. Yeah, but I would say maybe like 60-40.
Okay.
And most of my crocheting is blankets nowadays, for sure. I'm trying to get rid of, you know, that acrylic stash we all had at the very beginning of our yarn journey. I'm trying to work that down still, very slowly. So I'm doing a lot of scrappy crochet acrylic blankets.
Yeah, see, nice. There's always a place for that acrylic yarn. There's nothing wrong with it. Some of it is really, really soft, but
I agree.
Yeah, it's just hard when you are like in the Instagram and all these dyers and small businesses, and it's hard to not get sucked in by that.
Totally. I agree.
And when you have limited crafting space, it's like easy to,
right.
You want to stock up on the fancy colors.
Storage space.
Yes. Exactly.
I wish I had unlimited storage space, but honestly, it's probably better for me that I don't.
It helps keep it in check.
Yeah.
So, how do you find inspiration for your next project? Like, what makes you want to, like, how do you find inspiration?
Yeah. I scroll a lot on Ravelry. I know Rachel and I have talked before about, like, Rachel's not a Ravelry girl.
I'm not. I do not like to scroll or browse.
I love scrolling on Ravelry. So a lot of the yarn that I have in my stash right now, like the indie dyed stuff and like the wool blends, I buy on sale. Okay. Most of it. It has to be really special for me not to buy it on sale. Yeah, most of it is on. But anyway, so I like the challenge of going through Ravelry and looking at constraints, putting constraints into Ravelry, because the like browsing features on Ravelry or like the filters are super cool. Okay. You know, I have a lot of critiques about Ravelry, and it's not accessible to everybody. Yeah. But yeah, there's some really good data that like Ravelry organizes.
So you just need to play around with the filters then?
I love playing around with the filters and like looking through all of my stash and like, I bought these couple skeins of yarn at the same time from the same dyer. Like, put in the yardage, put in...
I didn't know that it was that customizable.
Yeah, you can put in yardage, you can put how many colors you want, you can say, I'm going to hold 2 strands together of different weights. Like, it's super cool. And if it's accessible to you, you should totally do it. But yeah, I find a lot of inspiration there. Okay. I know a lot of people find inspiration like when they go to the mall and like, I want that sweater. Yeah. That's not me. I don't do that.
You don't walk through Target during the fall and be like, oh, I could make that.
No, I don't. I mean, I do look at things at Target and say, oh, I could make that, but I'm not inclined to knit those things. I'm realistic with myself. Like the $30 black plain cardigan that I could buy at Target, I'm gonna buy it at Target. It's gonna take me 3 years to make. Like,
I love how we're all different in that aspect, because my brain instantly goes to like, I could do that from scratch, and like I'm gonna stress myself out and make myself broke and be miserable and hate the process just because I feel like I have to do it from scratch. It's not always worth it.
I agree. So I find a lot of inspiration on Ravelry. I try not to get too addicted to Instagram. Yeah. But I do find inspiration from Instagram and other people, from the community. Okay.
And are you a planner, or do you like, what is your process when you're starting a new project? Do you plan it out? Do you get the yarn first, pattern first, swatching? What's your process?
I am a not a swatcher. Not. I did swatch for the first time this week. That was the first time in like 2 years that I did.
I was like, the first time.
No, not first time ever.
But still in 2 years.
Yeah, no, I don't swatch.
This is a controversial topic.
I mean, like, you do you, but I don't like swatching. It takes the joy out of the project for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'll rip it out.
And you're making because you're finding joy in it, right? So why add that extra step if it's not fun for you?
And I feel like I'm transitioning to a place where I want to make those staple garments. But yeah, I'm just gonna do it because it's fun, and I'm not gonna stress about it. I can do it over again. That's what, like, this.
You can always start over.
This is the hobby. It's the knitting. Do you want to do less of the knitting?
That's a good point.
And I know, like, overall it is less knitting if you do a swatch, but then I do 5 swatches and none of it's right.
Yeah.
And then your gauge changes in the middle of the project, and then I'm still sad.
I find that too. Oftentimes, even if I do swatch, it's not even, my swatch is not even anywhere close to the measurements of the final project.
Yeah.
I mean, I do swatch because that will give me at least like a rough idea of if I need to go up or down in needle size, and lets me see if I like the fabric or not. But yeah, I definitely don't use the swatch as like the end all be all.
Right.
This is how my finished object is gonna look.
For sure.
And I think too, like I'm sure you've noticed this, once you've made several different types of fabric with several different types of yarn weights, you kind of have an idea of like, oh, this is what my tension is going to be like with these needles or this yarn or. Yeah,
and I'm definitely a looser knitter, so I always have to go down 1 or 2 needle sizes. So usually I'll start there. That's part of my like prep work.
Okay.
But I also do like a lot of mental gymnastics that probably isn't needed if I would just swatch. Because like my gauge is loose, so I should go down needle sizes. But if I want it more oversized than the pattern wants, then I should knit the size up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of mental gymnastics.
Okay.
But I don't print patterns because paper.
Do you use a tablet for your patterns? Or like your phone or?
I'm a chaos gremlin. It just depends on the day. Sometimes I use my iPad, sometimes I use my laptop, sometimes I use my phone.
Okay.
It just depends.
I love that. It's just so nice to hear how everyone does things differently. I mean, like, I'm so like process driven and such strict rules in my head where like it just occurred to me the other day that I'm always frustrated when my iPad is dead and I can't look at my pattern and it's like, hello, it's also on my phone.
Yeah.
I just realized that.
Oh my gosh. But like when we went to Flock a couple of weeks ago, I printed the pattern and I used it for the 1 day or 2 days. But like most of the time, I just take screenshots of it on my phone.
Did you ever find the pattern, by the way? Didn't you lose it when we got to Flock?
Yeah, it was in my backpack.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah.
I remember that. It was like, where did the pattern go?
Yeah, that was very stressful, but it's okay. But yeah, I just kind of do whatever wherever the vibes take me.
I love that. Whatever works, right?
Yeah, it's not that serious. It's just crafting. Yeah.
So how would you say the crafting community and hearing stories from others and their own personal crafting or making experience, how has that impacted your own? Or like even just Instagram and being on social media? Yeah,
I think one of the big things that I've learned being through like the Knitstagram community is that like size inclusivity. Because I never really thought about it.
Yeah.
Like making sure that everybody has access to patterns, and I don't know, that's probably one of the big things.
That actually, I never really thought about that, but you're right, that has been a big eye-opener for me too, and being on Instagram, and just making sure to like support the pattern designers that are inclusive.
Totally. Yeah, it's really important, now seeing the Knitstagram community is, making sure that people can have the supplies that they need and making that financially accessible. But also, like, I don't want people to be sad because they can't knit patterns. So I'm going to spend my money supporting people that can support smaller knitters or larger knitters. So
I love that.
Yeah, that's kind of a big thing. I thought I had something else, but I don't really remember.
Well, I wanted to add to that that's how we met. It was on Instagram. And look, like, we were going to fiber festivals together, and we started a knit group. That's how we, like, started hanging out, was starting a knit group and, like, meeting up. Nobody else showed up to our knit group, but we've become really good friends from that. And now we've gone to 2 fiber festivals together, recording podcasts together. And also, I wanted to say, too, that today was a big day because Alaine found a spinning wheel at an estate sale the other day. And, like, for $100. Everybody needs a fiber friend that's going to be looking out for the tools they need at estate sales. Yeah. It's just, I had resigned myself. I was telling Alaine before we started recording, I had resigned myself to the fact that it would be a while before I could afford a spinning wheel because, understandably, they're very expensive.
So expensive.
That's okay. I'm spinning on my little spindle, and it's just going to take me years to ever have a finished skein of yarn, but I was okay with that. Or, an e-spinner. There are other options, but this is just a really nice spinning wheel. I'm really, really excited.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, that's been a huge impact from the crafting community has had on me, is getting to make fiber friends, and it was nice living in a new city, and thanks to Instagram, we've been able to make those connections.
Yeah. The other thing that I was gonna say too is, like, seeing people from tons of different walks of life, because, like, I grew up in the suburbs, so, like, people who have, like, actual farms and raise actual sheep, and I grew up in a very nuclear family, so seeing people who, like, happy, thriving older women who don't have children or who don't have, I don't know, just, like,
it's really opened up to new world sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, seeing other people living their lives, but also we have this invisible string that connects us all together through our knitting, through our community.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a project, and I want to say, like, go wrong, but really what I want to know here is, like, what is your process when something doesn't turn out the way you expect? Like, how do you not get discouraged by that? Because I think we've all been there.
You just cast on a new project. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely had projects go wrong. The first time that I tried to make a crochet blanket without a YouTube video, I just was, like, messing around.
Making your own pattern.
Literally, the blanket is like this, guys.
Oh.
Like, it's...
Oops. It's those end stitches. They're hiding.
Oh my gosh. And I have that blanket. It's like this. It's like 12 inches maybe by the time I realized it. And I looked at my husband and I was like, is this rough?
So you never finished it.
So I never finished it, but I keep it. It's at my house somewhere.
Yeah.
And I find it every once in a while, and I'm like, dang, I sucked when I first started, but look at me now.
You kept going though. Yeah. See, you picked it back up again and kept trying.
Yeah. But you definitely have to take a break. Is what I've found. I'm learning as I get older, I'm not that old, but as I get older that I just need to slow down. I think, like, the impulsivity that I have just, like, wants to keep going.
Yeah.
But just, like, taking a break from it. And I know that's easier said than done because it's so hard when you're, like, super excited or you're super close to the end.
Yeah.
Or you just want it to work. And just taking a break and saying, like, I need to reevaluate and come back tomorrow, or I need to eat dinner, or something else is going wrong in my brain that is preventing me from finishing this project. But yeah, I've definitely had lots of yokes that I've made too small and too big. A couple months ago, I knit the second sleeve on smaller needles.
That's right.
It's still in my craft room, just in a bag somewhere, and I'll get to it eventually. And I'm lucky to have like the space to say that and just
set it aside for a
yeah,
while.
but
what do they call it? Project timeout or something?
yes.
Let it take a break.
Timeout. Yes. Yeah. So I mean, I think you may have gathered, but I'm just kind of a fly by the seat of my pants. Everything's gonna be okay in the end, kind of maker and crafter. And
I like that though, because this is, I mean, it's not a life or death situation.
No.
You're just having fun, and yeah, just keep trying. And I think that's a good point. Sometimes you have to just take a step back.
yeah, I mean, like I have been in life or death situations. I work in healthcare, and it's just yarn, people. Like, it's just,
and you can always come back from it too. Like,
totally
watching other YouTubers, Nitty Natty in particular, has like really opened my eyes to that. It's like, I would always kind of just suffer through a project just to get it done, or just because, like, even if I saw that it was going wrong, I still felt like I had to finish it just to finish it. But like, she's been just a really good inspiration, or like a good reminder that you can stop where you're at if you notice that something is going wrong, and you can fix it.
Yeah.
Like, you almost always can fix it.
Yeah.
And it's not the end of the world to have to start all over. And it's not the end of the world to decide that you don't want to finish that at all either.
Yeah.
If you want to just put it in the closet and it goes on timeout forever, that's okay too. I mean, it's not, you don't have to work on something that's no longer bringing you joy.
For sure. Yeah.
I've had many, I mean, even this, like, just little things. This, I need to fix the collar on because it's like really wide, so I'm gonna crochet a band around it. Or I've tried making 2, now I'm on my second one, like high neck tank tops. I love the mini mock neck. That did not work out well, to where the armhole was so low. I mean, it couldn't even be worn. So I ended up doing like major surgery on that project, picked up stitches, cut 2 inches off of the front, re-knitting it, like Kitchener stitching across the whole front. It was a whole crazy process. And I still don't love the fit of it. And you can also slightly see the little scar across the front from where I Kitchener stitched. But now I'm going through not the same, but making a similar pattern, that similar fit style. And I was like just about finished with the front panel, still have the whole back panel in it, and I had 15 grams of yarn left. That's not nearly enough. I'm like, am I not meant to have a tank top like this? But no, I am determined. Yes. I'm still finding joy in the process, so I'm just going to keep on trying and trying.
We'll get there eventually. Next summer.
Exactly, next summer.
But also it's perpetually summer here.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, definitely. we can definitely like drag out the summer makes and like wearing them for a lot longer than most places.
For sure.
And also, I was thinking it would be cute too with that style of tank top is like a long sleeve, like tight long sleeves, black shirt underneath, or even a dress or something, because it's super cropped and high neck and it's a wide tank top. But that might be cute with like so it could still be a fall outfit, maybe.
Yeah, that would be really cute. Yeah.
All right. Well, this was so much fun. Do you have any final thoughts or anything else to add?
Anything else? No. I mean, this is so fun.
Okay, I do have more questions here that I just saw. If you could tell your younger self, or maybe somebody else just getting started, one thing, what would that be?
Just use the yarn. Use the nice yarn, and like the yarn that you're scared to use, that's been sitting in your stash, like saving for the dream project, saving for the perfect thing. Like, just use it.
I like that.
You already spent the money, and it's going to be amazing no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not, then you just rip it out.
It's so easy to fall in that pattern of like saving things for a special occasion, but like we're alive right now. That's a special occasion, right?
Yeah, and like I was telling my husband last week when I went to that estate sale, I got home and I was like, I don't really know if I love estate sales. It makes me feel kind of existential. Like you spend all this money in your life. This is kind of getting philosophical.
That's okay. We'll get deep at the end here.
You spend all this money for all these nice things, and you stress about all the nice things, and then you die, and then strangers pick over your stuff.
I know. Isn't it crazy to think about? I thought that with the spinning wheel, and like it still has fiber on it. I mean, we don't know what happened to the person, right? They could have just moved.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it is crazy to think about.
Yeah, and
you can't take it with you.
Yeah, and I work in how do I say? I work in a part of healthcare that sees a lot of death. I see a lot of patients who can't do the things that they love anymore, and I want to do the things that I love while I still can. You know, my hands get stiff and you break your fingers or you break your shoulder or whatever, and you can't do the things you love. So you should just do the things that you love now and use the things that you love now.
Yeah,
because,
that's good.
Like, I don't know, you're just...
Do it while you can.
Do it while you can.
I think that's a good way to summarize this though.
Yeah.
And this whole like making journey and everything. It's just take advantage of the time that we've got.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Our hands work and we've got the nice yarn. Make whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
Make an amigurumi with wool yarn and gift it to your baby niece.
Yeah.
Whatever you want. Do whatever you want with it. Or I mean, even if you just want to keep the yarn on your shelf and that's what makes you happy.
Yeah.
That's okay too. I think sometimes buying the craft supplies and actually doing the craft are two separate hobbies.
For sure. Yes. Yeah. Like when I went to the estate sale last week for Rachel's spinning wheel, and I was Rachel and I were talking about, do I really want to learn how to spin or do I just love a good deal? and I feel like, yeah, a lot of times I just buy things because I love a good deal.
You do love a good deal. You're always sending me stuff about that's on sale, and like, I mean, it's handy because I'm not a browser like that. Like I said in the beginning, so it's really nice to have someone that's like, oh, even nitpicks. Look, it's on sale right now. Don't miss out.
Financially questionable, but for the joy.
And if you're gonna buy it anyways, and look, I mean, gosh. That spinning wheel, those things are almost $800.
Oh
so to get one for that, you can't pass that up.
And it came with accessories.
Yeah, the three bobbins and it's just like a skein winder, right? Yeah, that's so cool. I've not seen a spinning wheel have that.
It's really cool.
Exciting. Do you have any other hobbies aside from crafting?
No. What am I into?
Reading.
I'm into reading right now. My husband and I are very into Formula One right now.
Okay.
Yeah. We just bought a house a few months ago, so right now we're just trying to make our house a home.
It's exciting.
Cheesy. But
no, that's exciting though. That's a big step.
Yeah. It's too hot to do anything. We live in Arizona, so it's too hot to do anything outside.
Yes, it really is.
Even inside the house, you do things and then I'm sweating 20 minutes, even in the air conditioning.
I know. I was just cleaning up today, you know, before I've got family coming in town and before you come over, just cleaning the house. I'm like, the AC won't go any lower. It's like, it's set at 75 and the house is 77 degrees. It's increasing, not decreasing.
Yeah. Arizona, man.
Yeah, but it does still get cold. It will
Yes.
cool off.
Yes. Yeah. We're looking forward to gardening this winter for the first time.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's super exciting.
Yeah.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much
Of
for
course.
joining and sharing your story with myself and everybody else. And thank you, everyone, for watching. I have a final thought that I want to leave us with today, and I think it's really fitting for everything that we talked about, and that is to just embrace the process. Embrace the process.
Yeah.
I used to just be a knitter that just wanted the finished object or crocheter, but now I've just learned that I just like the knitting, and sometimes it doesn't even matter if I get anything out of it because this is what I'm getting out of it. Is it's keeping my hands busy, it's fun, it's relaxing, and yeah, just embrace the process. I hope that we'll see you back here next time with our next episode for our next chapter. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.